Story 10. It was a night cloaked in impenetrable darkness, the moon veiled behind dense clouds, as I stumbled upon the enigmatic mask maker's shop. A lone beacon of light in the otherwise desolate street, the shop's windows emitted a faint, unsettling glow that cast long, eerie shadows across the cobblestone pavement. Compelled by a mix of late-night curiosity and an inexplicable pull, I found myself drawn towards the shop. Each step echoed ominously on the stones, the sound mingling with the thick, aromatic air that hung heavy with the sense of seasoned wood and pungent paint, a scent that was undercut by an underlying current of something darker, something foreboding. Peering through the glass, I was greeted by countless masks, each perched meticulously on its shelf. These were no ordinary creations, they were masterpieces of eerie craftsmanship, with each mask boasting an intricate design that seemed almost alive. Their expressions were twisted into grotesque grimaces, smiles, or scowls, and their empty eye sockets seemed to stare back with an unnerving intensity. There was an inherent darkness to these masks, a palpable malevolence that seemed to pulse from within, as if each were imbued with its own sinister life force. Despite the chill that ran down my spine, my curiosity tipped the balance, urging me forward. With a mixture of trepidation and intrigue, I pushed open the shop door. The soft chime of the bell overhead broke the silence like a foreboding whisper, announcing my entry into what felt like another realm. Inside, the air was dense, filled with a palpable unease, as if the very walls were imbued with whispered secrets and ancient lore. Tentatively, I approached a nearby shelf and hesitantly extended my hand to touch one of the masks. Its surface was unexpectedly cold, the texture flawless. But the moment my skin made contact, a sharp jolt of electricity surged through me, staggering me backward in shock. To my horror, the mask's eyes began to glow with a sinister, unnatural light, as though it had been awakened by my touch. Before my very eyes, the features of the mask contorted, morphing into a hideous new form that no longer resembled anything human. Heart racing, I realized with a growing sense of dread that this was no ordinary mask shop. The creations before me were not mere objects but vessels, each harboring something dark and voracious. From somewhere deeper within the shadowy recesses of the shop, a voice emerged. It was low and rough, like gravel being crushed underfoot, resonating through the room with an eerie omnipresence. "Welcome, traveler," it intoned, chilling me to the bone. "You have entered the domain of the malevolent mask maker, where the line between dreams and nightmares dissolves." Frantically, I scanned the room for the source of the voice, but I was met only by the legion of grotesque masks staring back at me, their expressions mocking in the dim light. "Who are you?" I managed to call out, my voice quivering with fear. "What do you want from me?" The chuckle that answered was devoid of warmth, filled instead with malice and dark amusement. "I am but a humble craftsman of the arcane," the voice replied, every word dripping with ominous intent. "As for my desires, they will soon become clear to you." Panic set in as the realization of my predicament dawned on me. I was trapped, a lone visitor ensnared in the clutches of this sinister artisan. The masks, I understood with horrifying clarity, were more than simple carvings. They were conduits for something much more ancient and malevolent, crafted to ensnare the souls of the unwary. Desperate for escape, I turned to the door through which I had entered, only to find it immovably sealed, as though it had never been a doorway at all. The mask's eyes seemed to follow me as I struggled, their glow intensifying with each of my failed attempts to leave. With nowhere to run, I faced the dark heart of the shop, where the voice seemed to originate. "What do you want from me?" I repeated, my voice steadier as resignation began to take hold. "It is not what I want, but what the masks desire," the voice answered cryptically. "They hunger for a soul to free them from their wooden prisons." As I processed the gravity of those words, I realized that my soul was the price of this macabre dance. The masks wanted liberation, and I was to be their key. Yet, even as despair threatened to overwhelm me, a spark of resolve ignited within me. I would not succumb without a fight. I turned my attention to the masks, studying them with a newfound determination. If these were indeed conduits, there had to be a way to sever their connection to whatever darkness fueled them. Drawing on every ounce of courage I had left, I approached the first mask, the one that had first reacted to my touch. With a deep breath, I reached out and with a swift motion, ripped it from the shelf. The mask's glow faded instantly, its eerie life force extinguishing as it clattered to the floor. Emboldened, I moved down the line, tearing each mask down one by one, watching as the glow in their eyes dimmed and the oppressive atmosphere began to lift. The voice of the mask maker roared in anger and despair, but I did not falter. As the last mask hit the ground, the spell that had sealed the door shattered. Light from the street lamps outside began to seep into the shop, casting away the shadows that had once dominated. With a final glance at the fallen masks, now just lifeless carvings, I stepped out into the cool night air, the door closing with a final, definitive thud behind me. Though I had escaped the clutches of the malevolent mask maker, the night's terrors would linger in my mind, a constant reminder of the night when curiosity led me to the brink of the abyss. Story 11. In the shadowy corners of my family's attic, among heaps of long-forgotten artifacts and dusty mementos from yesteryears, I discovered an unexpected treasure, an ancient music box. Its elaborate design was a relic of an era long past, and its intricate craftsmanship suggested it was once cherished by its owners. Drawn by its enigmatic charm, I felt an irresistible urge to breathe life into it once more by winding its delicate mechanism to release the melodies it held captive. As I turned the key, the first notes of a haunting tune floated through the still air, sending a shiver down my spine. The melody was enchanting, weaving itself into my very being, holding me under a spellbinding trance. Night after night I was drawn back to the music box, captivated by the ethereal sounds it produced. However, as days melded into weeks, a growing unease began to take root in my mind. There was an unsettling quality to the music, a subtle distortion that seemed to morph its melodious notes into a chaotic cacophony of screams and whispers. Initially, I dismissed these disturbances as figments of my imagination, mere shadows cast by an overactive mind. But with each passing night, the distortions became more distinct, the sweet melodies degenerating into discord and madness. It appeared as if the music box was imbued with life, its soul screaming for release from the confines of its beautifully crafted prison. My fascination turned to fear, yet I found myself unable to stay away, compelled to listen as the box unleashed its nightmarish symphony. The sounds echoed through the attic, resonating like a mournful cry through the silence. Then, as abruptly as they began, the melodies would cease, leaving me in the oppressive darkness, haunted by their lingering echoes that invaded my dreams. Determined to escape this relentless torment, I attempted to close the music box and end its sinister serenade. But the lid refused to remain shut, as if compelled by a desperate force from within eager to be heard. Each night became a struggle against the music box, my hands shaking as I fought to keep the lid closed, to contain the dark force dwelling inside. Yet no matter how much effort I exerted, the lid would inevitably spring open, its dreadful music resuming with even greater ferocity. Driven to the brink, I scoured through old family records and arcane books, seeking knowledge about this malevolent artifact. Hidden within an old, dusty tome, I uncovered the chilling tale of the music box's origin. It was said to have been crafted by a deranged artisan, obsessed with the macabre. According to legend, the music box contained the souls of those who had listened to its melody, trapping them in an eternal vortex of agony and despair. It seemed I had become the latest prisoner of its curse, caught in its web with seemingly no escape. Despite the enveloping darkness, I resolved not to succumb to despair. With renewed determination, I decided to confront the source of my torment and rid myself of its malevolent influence once and for all. Armed with knowledge and fortified by a resolve of steel, I ascended to the attic to face the cursed music box. As I stood before it, a wave of calm enveloped me, a beacon of hope in the shadowy gloom. With a steady hand, I reached forward and firmly closed the lid of the music box, vowing to silence its haunting melody forever. In that moment, a profound peace washed over me. I felt the oppressive weight of darkness lift from my shoulders as the sinister energy retreated into the forgotten corners of the attic, its presence fading away. Descending from the attic, the echoes of the music box's melody diminishing with each step, I felt a triumphant relief wash over me. I had faced unimaginable darkness and emerged victorious. The memory of its ominous presence would undoubtedly haunt me, but I found comfort in my resilience and the newfound peace that filled the once tormented spaces of my home. From that day forward, the attic remained silent, the cursed music box no longer a source of fear. It sat quietly, a mere object among many, stripped of its power to torment. In its silence, I found a lasting reminder of the power each of us holds over the shadows, not with might, but with the courage to confront our deepest fears. Story 12. Every evening, as the moon bathed my room in its ghostly light, I was irresistibly drawn to the antique mirror that adorned the wall. With its ornate, time-worn frame, the mirror seemed to pulse with hidden secrets and silent tales from a bygone era. It was an heirloom from my late grandmother, a relic of the secluded Victorian mansion she left me, hidden deep within the forest's embrace. Little did I anticipate the enigmatic depths this mirror harbored, far beyond mere reflections. Initially, the whispers were faint, no louder than the rustle of leaves stirred by an evening breeze. I brushed them off as the product of my imagination, fueled by the solitary, eerie nature of the old house. Yet with each passing night, these whispers grew louder and more urgent, as though the mirror itself was desperate to communicate its ancient lore. One night, driven by a blend of curiosity and apprehension, I approached the mirror. The whispers wrapped around me like a dark shroud as I neared. Hesitating, my hand hovered just inches from the reflective glass, uncertain of the consequences. Taking a deep, trembling breath, I finally touched the cool surface. Instantly, the whispers surged into a chorus of voices from long ago, each recounting tales of buried secrets and forgotten transgressions. My heart raced as I absorbed the eerie harmonies of these spectral narrators. However, the mirror's revelations were not limited to auditory hauntings. Occasionally, a chilling sight met my gaze in the glass, a shadowy figure standing just behind me. Its shape was indistinct, cloaked in darkness, yet its eyes glimmered with malevolent intent. Whirling around, my heart pounding in terror, I found nothing but the empty room behind me. This nightly ritual became a haunting routine. I was drawn inexorably to the mirror, captivated by its mystical allure, while the figure in the glass drew ominously closer with each encounter. Struggling to rationalize these phenomena as mere effects of stress or fatigue proved futile. I knew in my bones that something far more sinister was at play. The mirror was not just a relic, it was a portal to a realm of darkness, a conduit for forces I scarcely understood. In search of answers, I pored over ancient journals and dust-laden books, delving into the mirror's murky past. What I discovered sent chills through me. The mirror had once belonged to a notorious occultist known for his dark rituals and dealings with arcane forces. It was said that he used this mirror as a gateway for summoning entities from shadowy dimensions. Armed with this grim knowledge, the whispers took on a new, terrifying dimension. They were not mere echoes, they were the desperate voices of souls trapped within the mirror's cursed glass. The shadowy figure, a spectral entity, a guardian of the mirror, tasked with ensnaring the unwary. Realizing the danger I was in, I knew I must escape the mirror's malevolent influence. Yet, breaking its hold was not simple, as if the mirror itself schemed to keep me ensnared in its dark embrace. Desperate, I sought out a reputed occult expert, a practitioner of ancient rites. Together, we orchestrated a ritual intended to purge the mirror of its dark energies, invoking benevolent forces to counteract the darkness. Chanting incantations, we watched as the mirror's surface began to ripple violently, as if agitated by an unseen storm. It seemed, for a harrowing moment, that the dark forces might overpower us, enveloping us in shadow forever. But then a brilliant light exploded through the room, and the mirror shattered into countless shards, each piece echoing the dissolution of its dark power. In the aftermath, a profound peace enveloped me. The oppressive whispers ceased, the menacing figure vanished. The broken fragments of the mirror lay scattered, a testament to the darkness that had once dwelled within. Now, as I reflect on the mirror's destruction, peace reigns in the quiet of the Victorian mansion. Yet, I often ponder the deeper mysteries of this place. The mirror was but one artifact of many, and the shadows of this old house whisper of other, untold secrets and dormant horrors. Though I have freed myself from the mirror's grasp, its legacy lingers in my dreams, a haunting reminder of the thin veil between our world and the realms that lie just beyond our sight. As I reside in my grandmother's mansion, surrounded by the enigmatic echoes of the past, I remain vigilant, aware that other secrets may yet surface, eager to breach the boundaries of our reality.